It's amazing that I did that whole thing muted. It's incredible. Do you want to know the best part about me doing that muted is that not only is this not only not only is this like my 500th of these in a row every single day, but the greatest part is that I actually fucked up and then like acknowledged that I fucked up and you guys couldn't even. It was a whole fucking thing. Whatever. My bronzer's in the other room. I'm gonna have to go get that at some point. I'm doing my makeup. I have a meeting right after this, and then after that, I'm going to In the Heights. I've got like all this stuff, places to go, people to see, shows to fuck up. Apparently, it is Monday, June 7th, and I am on one already. Thank you guys for joining me today live with Roxy, where we're talking about Loki. I'm going to tell you guys all about what the critics are thinking about Loki based off their Twitters. Spoiler alert, I have seen Loki. Other spoiler alert, I'm not allowed to talk about it till tomorrow, except for a social review, but I can't do my video embargo is up not until tomorrow. So I will be telling you guys all about that once I can speak on it. I know you guys always ask me what I'm putting on my face. This is mascara. Boys, don't forget about that. Women are always really impressed when a man knows what thing to grab when she says, "Can you please grab me my mascara?" This is what she's talking about. The more you know. Not only are we going to be talking about the Twitter reviews for Loki, though, from the critics, which I am not one of them because I would never describe myself as a critic because y'all know I'm a creator, not a critic. But we'll be talking about that. And we'll be talking about Jeff Bezos, who is going to space because when you have millions of dollars, what the fuck else are you gonna do when you step down from your company? Down from your company. I think that song is going to be a #1 hit. Probably it will play on Amazon Music. Does Amazon have its own music? I think it does. I'm hip with it. I'm cool. Do you guys see my story today about me wearing a backwards hat on my meeting with my interns? These aren't my World Girls interns. These are my AfterBuzz interns. I had my backwards hat on, or I was talking to them. I didn't have it on. I put it on and I was like, does this make me cool? And they all just went dead ass silent. Just dead ass. And I was like, and then one of them was like, I think it makes you cool. And I was like, oh my God, I'm getting to be not only that age where not only am I not cool, but I'm also asking if I'm cool. And I'm so uncool that they won't even pretend to say that I'm fucking cool. That's the big. Wow, really? This is not blending very well, guys. Oh no, that's good. Blend like a motherfucker. Blend. I also need that bronzer, but it's not here. It's a whole fucking thing. Rob says the song needs a title. Rob, I'll tell you what. You can title it. You're better at this stuff than I am. I give you full-blown permission to title the song, and you can do it and let us know. Maybe we do a vote. Maybe you give us 2 options. Maybe we take a big vote here live at the Roxy. These are the things that we live for on this show. The really important things, the things that make the world go round. What is the name of the song? Also, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a Roxy advice corner today because I saw something that affected my soul. When things affect my soul, I want to let you guys know about them. Plus, big fucking news. This is actually the biggest news of the day, even though it's not getting as much coverage. You guys know I'm incredibly invested in brain research, and I'm invested not only because my mom died of brain cancer, not only because my grandfather has dementia, not only because I know so many people who have suffered from brain diseases such as Alzheimer's or whatever, insert any other brain disease here, but because it's going to affect every single one of us at some point in life. And we need to be paying the fuck attention in ways that we are not right now, because when your brain is healthy and functioning, you take that for granted. And what you don't think about is the day that it might not be. And that number is increasing across the United States and the world of people who are suffering. I'm not talking about from mental illness. I'm talking about from brain illness. And that is something that does not nearly have enough emphasis. And today, the FDA approved an Alzheimer's treatment that is really fucking great. Is it a cure-all? No. Is it a fix-all? No. Is it a one-size-fits-all? No. But it is a step forward, and that is so fucking vital. It is so pivotal in this moment to be making steps forward towards brain research and improving our brain functions, especially as we're getting older. And so I'm really excited to talk about that. All that and more today live at the Roxy. Plus, whatever the fuck it is that you guys want to talk about. Questions, comments, concerns. I can't do the thing I want to do without the bronzer, so I'm just going to keep focusing on the eyes for now. But it's going to have this weird glare this whole time. It's a whole fucking vibe. Just let it be a bop. If it's a bop, it's a bop. We learned that from Steph Sabrosing and Whitney Houston. Doesn't really matter what notes you hit. If you've got a vibe on it, you've got a vibe on it. I got vibe on it. All right, let's go into the Streamlabs, see what it is you guys are talking about in here. Then we'll go over to any super chats or any questions, comments, concerns from you guys. Get them in loud, get them in proud, get them in now so that I can see what's going on in your worlds today. Support has been light in numbers, light in finances, big in rock stars. Love you guys a lot. And hopefully you guys can show up and show out if you are doing all right. Some of us are not, and I feel for you as well, including Glenn Caesar saying, rest in peace, Chris Burke, and love to Avery Burke. Hashtag 2 amazing rock stars forever. Let's go Smets and everyone else fighting. Hashtag smash cancer. I stand against Islamophobia. I stand against anti-Semitism. I stand against Asian hate. Stop AAPI hate. I know that Black Lives Matter. Hashtag BLM. Absolutely, Glenn. Glenn also goes on to remind us something that we talk about every single day, twice a day on this show. Miles Cosgrove, Brett Hankison, Jonathan McInerney, arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor. All three of them for killing Breonna Taylor. Hope today is the day just for all the people who've lost their lives due to excessive force. Hashtag say their names. Hello and good afternoon, Roxy, and all your nicknames. Just send in Monday well wishes. And thank you for still taking time to hang out. Peace, bunnies, hugs, and good stuff to you, Grammy and Papa. Be most excellent to yourselves and each other. Roxy and rock stars, RJ, and everyone who shows up to give their support whenever, however they can. Ooh, not my best one yet. When it gets tough, even if you're by yourself, you're not alone. Everyone is battling. Keep on fighting. You're a winner. You're kind. You're smart. You're unique. And showing up for people who want it and need it. We know that one's essential, that they need it and want it. Makes you amazing. We're back to amazing. Being so unselfishly loving and supportive of others, including strangers, whether it's on the internet or not, makes you humane and worthy. Your story is important, deserves to be seen and heard. Cheers to finding fuck yeah news. What brings us joy, smiles, laughter in each of our days, our weeks, our months, and even our years. Hopefully, each of us get to do it. Add those colors to your palette and display your mosaic of life for all to see. I'm a big mosaic gal, Glenn, so I like this. I like where your head's at, and I appreciate you. Also in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/RoxyStrider, Jake Yakavetta. Ooh, with this comment. Ooh, going with your bad self. He says, the Black World Girls hat and boxers came in today, but I'm still not sure about a photo shoot. LOL. Jake, what's this sis got to say? What do I have to say to get you to do the World Girls photo shoot? Also, can you tell me how the boxers are? I haven't seen those yet. I want to see the black hat as well. Did you get the black baseball cap or did you get the black beanie? We know that you got the white bucket hat and that the white was very light. Oh, what did you say in the Discord when I said, was it a vibe or was it too light? Because we're thinking about changing it. I got it too. I got the white on white beanie and I fucking love it. But branding purposes wise, it might not be the best because you can't tell that it's World Girls from far away. So I don't know what we want to do with that. Kind of jumping all the fuck over the place on the show today. And that is what we call, say it with me, kids, a roller coaster show. What? I can't hear you. A roller coaster show. Yeah, it was too light on the bucket hat. It's very light on the beanie too. Okay. And we'll do one with silver or black. I like the silver. D and Steph both like the black. So we'll probably go with black because that. Baseball cap. Good. How are you not going to send pics? Tweet pics. Anybody who got any of our World Girls merch, which can be found on theworldgirls.com, send us stuff. I want to see those pics. Tweet them at us. This is an eyebrow pencil. So I do a lot of different shit to my eyebrows. Steph's video timing or video chatting. Let's pick up. We'll see how it goes. I'm live on my show.
Tell everyone I say hi.
Oh, it sounds so good. It's really
so bad still.
It's really good. Did you see from World Girls? I just posted your Whitney.
No, let me on Instagram.
Yeah, it's gonna blow up. You're gonna be a star.
You're a star. I love you. Call me after your
I love you. I will. Bye. Wow, that voice though. It's really coming in hot. So this is an eyebrow pencil. Sometimes I use a powder. Sometimes I use a pencil. Sometimes I use a gel. I bet you didn't know about all the options, but now you did. I also like anybody who's here for the first time who's like, will this bitch start talking about Loki? I will, I swear. But first, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Get in any questions, comments, concerns you have, thoughts on today's show. Jeff Bezos going to, I was going to say the moon, but it's just a space. Or anything low-key related. Low-key, let's talk about low-key. Or if you have any advice that you want to add to the Roxy's Advice Corner or any thoughts about this Alzheimer's advancement and research that we're going to be talking about on today's show. Let's just jump right into it. Let's start with Jeff Bezos, who is going to space. This is the thing that, you know how sometimes when you hear a story like Army Hammer is a cannibal, and I'm not saying Jeff Bezos going to space is the equivalent of Army Hammer being a cannibal. But what I am saying is that when you have everything you want, because you are a rich person who has enough money that they never have to work again, and they just are so loaded, and obviously Jeff Bezos is one of the richest human beings to ever walk this earth, it's really, really challenging because you've got to come up with shit to make yourself entertained. And unless you just are inherently a really great person, which if you get to be a billionaire, chances are you're not a really great person. So unless you can figure out a way to be a great person, so all your time and money go to philanthropy or philanthropic ventures, and by adventures, I just mean ventures, then you start coming up with shit that the rest of us are like, what the fuck? And sometimes that takes the shape of, I'm going to start trying to eat people because cannibalism. And sometimes that comes in the shape of, I want to go to space because I'm building, a rocket ship and I would like to go to space. He's creating the Blue Origin rocket and he is stepping down from his position at Amazon. So he is doing, all of the things that are like, what does this next chapter of my life look like? So here's why I'm actually okay with this, because if you have everything you ever wanted and you are bored, I would rather you go to space in your rocket that you've created than, like overpower women or assault people or become like a fucking freak. So the fact that Bezos is going to space is not surprising. The fact that Bezos is going to space on a rocket that he's building is not surprising. The fact that people are surprised about this is surprising. That's fucking surprising. Also, how quickly this is happening is kind of surprising. He's going to fly to the edge of space with his brother next month. So we are currently in June. Maybe people had heard about this prior, but from what I hear, it's kind of hard to be an astronaut. So if you're going to space, that takes a little bit of work. This is July 20th, and the firm announced in May that it would be targeting this date for a first crew flight, but didn't say Bezos was going to be joining. Wild. This is what Bezos said. You see the Earth from space and it really changes you. It changes your relationship with the planet and humanity. It's one Earth. I want to go on this flight because it's the thing I've wanted to do all my life. It's an adventure. It's a big deal for me. Dude, I think it's a big deal for anybody to go to space. It's a fucking big ass deal. So those are my thoughts on this. If you're gonna fucking have a ton of money and you're not gonna give it all away to charity, then at least just don't fucking harm people. How wild will it be if this starts a new age of more people going to space and or something actually happens? Glenn Caesar, how does anyone know where the edge is? Who the fuck knows what the edge of space is? I don't know, Glenn. I don't have the answer to that. It's a very, very fair question. I wish I could tell you more, but truthfully, I'm just excited to find out about the edge of space. I've always wanted to go to space too. I bet every single one of you guys had. If I had over $1 billion, then likely I'd figure out a way to get to motherfucking space as well. So Jeff Bezos, you're just doing what all of us would do if we were billionaires who didn't decide to save the planet. Then there's stories like the one we're going to talk about with this Alzheimer's advancement that make me want to fucking punch Jeff Bezos in the face. Not specifically Jeff Bezos, but anybody with that much money. I think I've told you guys this story before, but years ago when my mom was sick, I was having a conversation with her doctor and I said, you know, how long is it going to be until we have a cure for brain cancer? A cure for brain cancer. And he was like, the only reason that we have not been able to solve or cure any diseases, but specifically brain cancer, is because of lack of funding. The more money we have, the more research we can do, we will find what makes people live longer or eventually live long enough that the disease doesn't kill them. A natural cause kills them instead, which is, you know, right now, any of my friends their parents get diagnosed with brain cancer or they have brain cancer. My aunt has brain cancer. You guys know Maria's mom, who just passed away, had brain cancer. We have people in here who have brain cancer. Brain cancer is not the only one. Obviously, we're talking about Alzheimer's today specifically, but anybody who has it, I always tell them what you're trying to do is live long enough so that they find different technology. Because right now, there's different kinds of brain cancer, but if you have a stage 4 glio, that is a tumor that nobody has ever survived. There's not a single person who has survived a stage 4 glio. So it is one of the deadliest. And the reason that we don't have more on that is because we don't have enough fucking money. So I get really mad at people like Bezos because if he could give $1 billion to brain research, then we would be so much further along than we are now. But he doesn't, and he's not. And then there's also a bajillion causes. So it's hard to gauge which one you're going to give money to anyway, even if you do have $1 billion. So that. But this is about fuck yeah news on the show today. So I'll stop being a fucking Debbie Downer and talk about what actually happened in Alzheimer's advancements today that were huge. Let me know what you guys are thinking so far. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Put in those Streamlabs and the super chats. I want to hear from you guys going into the Streamlabs. Glenn Caesar says, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you this past weekend, but my beanie arrived Thursday night/Monday morning. I got the green beanie. It looks dope, but it's so fucking hot outside. Probably too hot to wear right now. LOL, take a pic and post it on the Discord. Fuck yeah, Glenn. And then let me know if I can tweet it out because I want to tweet out everybody in our merch. Christian Hardesty in the Streamlabs. Hi, Christian. Thank you for getting us all fucked up for World Girl Sunday. Christian Hardesty says, still reeling after you broke my heart with your distaste for Mariah last night. However, it's hard to stay upset with you when I see pics with those big brown eyes on your Instagram story. Jokes aside, I don't know about her personal stuff, just love her music. Yeah, I do think it's hard for me not to be biased here because I think she's really an asshole. And so it's hard when you notice how big of an asshole somebody is to still like their music. However, I listen to Motley Crue, so there are people who are fucking dickheads that I listen to. And but it like taints my whole view of her. Yeah, it's just, ugh. Wow, Evan Hooker says, normalize shaming billionaires for wealth hoarding. Absolutely. So here's what's going on in Alzheimer's developments today. That was a really big deal. The FDA approved an Alzheimer's drug that is, again, not a cure, not a fix for everybody, but is a huge step forward, and the FDA approving it definitely shows that. I'm going to read an article from the New York Times, and then we can discuss this. But if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, Streamlabs in. This is FDA approves Alzheimer's drug despite fierce debate over whether it works. How do you say this? Aducanumab. Wow, I've only read it so far. I haven't said it out loud. Or Aduhelm. Sure, is the first new Alzheimer's. I'm going to call it AD. Is the first new Alzheimer's treatment in 18 years and the first to attack the disease's process. But some experts say there's not enough evidence it can address cognitive symptoms. The Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, on Monday approved the first new medication for Alzheimer's disease in nearly 2 decades. Think about the fact that this is the first thing that's been approved in almost 20 years. Contentious decision made despite opposition from the agency's independent advisory committee and some Alzheimer's experts who said there's not enough evidence that the drug can help patients. Again, this is like I said, not a cure-all, not a fix-all, not working for everybody, but definitely is a step forward, as we can talk about here. The drug, AD, which will go by the brand of the name Aduhelm, is a monthly intravenous infusion intended to slow cognitive decline in people with mild memory and thinking problems. It is the first approved treatment to attack the disease process of Alzheimer's instead of just addressing dementia symptoms. Biogen, its manufacturer, announced Monday afternoon that the list price would be $56,000 a year. Blech. In addition, there would most likely be tens of thousands of dollars in costs for diagnostic testing and brain imaging. We'll see what insurance does about all of that. Recognizing that clinical trials of the drug have provided incomplete evidence to demonstrate effectiveness, so not no evidence, just incomplete. The FDA granted approval for the drug to be used, but required Biogen to conduct a new clinical trial. If the new clinical trial, called a phase 4 trial, fails to show the drug is effective, the FDA can, but is not required to, rescind its approval. So we'll wait on that to continue the celebration. Hopefully. About 6 million people in the United States and roughly 30 million globally have Alzheimer's, a number expected to double by 2050. I want you guys to hear that sentence one more time. About 6 million people in the United States and roughly 30 million people globally have Alzheimer's, a number that is expected to double by 2050. Now, I know 2050 seems far away, pausing from this article for a second, but 2050 is a time that most of us here are still going to be alive. In 2050, we're still going to be here. In our lifetime, we are expected to see Alzheimer's double. Now, tell me that doesn't fucking affect every single one of us. Think about the amount of people you know who have Alzheimer's. Even if they're not in your immediate family, just think about the amount of people that you know have Alzheimer's. Now think about that doubling and being that age, and that very likely being one of us, 2 of us, 10 of us, a lot of us. It's a huge fucking number. Christian Hardesty says, 2050 is closer to us than 1990. It's wild. So think about that. And then for people who don't want funding to go here, don't think that this is worth our time, it's egregious. Currently, 5 medications approved in the U.S. can delay cognitive decline for several months in various Alzheimer's stages. Patient advocacy groups have lobbied vigorously for approval because there are so few treatments available for the debilitating condition, and other drugs in clinical trials, while more promising, are most likely 3 or 4 years away from potential approval. 3 or 4 years away is something that is important for us to hear. When you think about all of the funding that went towards this vaccination that is working, it's because we put so much fucking money into it. The more money we put into something, the shorter amount of time it takes, the more research can be done on it. So 3 to 4 years, to any of your rich ass fucking friends, we got to work on cutting that number down. But still, there are things that are coming down the pipeline, things that are very important, that we are excited about, that might change the future of Alzheimer's, that will change the future of brain studies and functions. And these are things that while they are more promising, this being approved today is a huge step forward, because even having the conversation that people are not having, which is that this is something that is growing and growing, and for a lot of reasons, that's a conversation we could have a different time, is growing. The FDA Advisory Committee, along with an independent think tank and several prominent experts, including some Alzheimer's doctors who worked on the aducanumab. Wow, shit, I gotta learn that. Aducanumab clinical trials said the evidence raised significant doubts about whether the drug is effective. They also said that even if it could slow cognitive decline in some patients, the benefit suggested that the evidence would be so slight that it would not outweigh the risk of swelling or bleeding in the brain the drug caused in the trials, which is why we need to do more fucking trials on this. The data included in the applicant's submission were highly complex and left residual uncertainties regarding clinical benefit. The FDA's director of the Center for Drug Evaluation Research, Dr. Patricia Cavazzoni, wrote on the agency's website. But she said the agency had decided to approve the drug through a program called Accelerated Approval, which is designed to provide earlier access to potentially valuable therapies for patients with serious diseases where there is an unmet need and where there is an expectation of clinical benefit despite some residual uncertainty regarding that benefit. So in other words, they're saying that they're approving this for people who with serious diseases, so when Alzheimer's is serious, which it always is, where there's an unmet need, so they have a need that there is no other option for, and where there is an expectation of clinical benefit, so where they're expecting that there will be some kind of benefit here, despite some residual uncertainty. So they're expecting that the pros will outweigh the cons in these patients. That's breaking that down. This is definitely, again, not a perfect fit, but it is something that might move things forward. And that is pivotal. Because Alzheimer's primarily affects older people, most costs are expected to fall into Medicare's Part B program. Medicare has not yet said how it would cover the drug and its associated costs. I'm sure they will fight against it for a little bit, but then I'm sure that we will fight against it and then back and forth until they do have the majority of the cost, because obviously $56,000 a year is not fucking doable. I face this with my grandparents' medication all of the fucking time, as Medicare does not cover a lot of Grammy's medications, and I'm fucking constantly fighting with them on it. Papo, because he is a vet, the VA does cover a lot of his, but even his injections for his MS, each injection is $1,000. This is covered by the VA. But if it was not covered by the VA, each injection is $1,000. He has to take them twice a week. There are 52 weeks in a year. So that is 104 injections he gives himself. He's actually off of them right now, but that's kind of a long story. But that's 104 injections. So that is $104,000 that he would be paying if he was not with the VA covering it, because there is a link to his MS and the decline with the war, which is what they deem. How fucking nuts is that? Over $100,000. So $56,000 is actually very normal price for a medication, and it's not a doable price for anybody. So it's fucking nuts that is the case. And so I'm curious what Medicare Part B's program will say about this. Although the clinical trials were conducted on specific populations of patients, those with mild cognitive impairment or early stage Alzheimer's, whose brain contained higher than normal levels of amyloid, the FDA's label for the drug does not contain any such restrictions. So they're saying that while they tested it on people in early stages, the restrictions, now that it's been approved, are not just specifically for people with earlier stages. The label simply says the drug is for the treatment of Alzheimer's disease. That's interesting. And I wonder if the tests, what they'll show, or when they are using this on people who are further in the Alzheimer's sickness, what that will look like. So this is interesting. In 2012, the FDA revoked its approval of the drug Avastin as a breast cancer treatment after additional studies did not show enough benefit. My mom was on Avastin. She had brain cancer, not breast cancer. All right. Anyway, this is, again, while it's not the most incredible news on the planet where I'm sitting and shouting from the rooftops, it's a cure, it's still incredible that we are moving in a positive direction, which is a direction where we are spending money on research and on actually getting things approved so we can see what the fuck works. Because I promise you, this is going to affect every single one of us. And if it doesn't affect you yet, it fucking will. It will. And I see Dwayne Burke in here, so obviously he knows what I'm fucking talking about. Hi, Dwayne. Happy to have you here. He says, VA healthcare is a pain in the ass, but thank God the medication coverage is top tier. Totally. Absolutely. And it is such a pain in the ass, but you're so right, because the amount of things between Papo's hearing aids and his blood clots and his MS and every single thing. I mean, if we didn't have the VA's coverage and we were paying out of pocket for Papo's just medications alone, not even his appointments or anything, and his blood thinner that he's on because of the clots and everything. I mean, we're looking at $250,000 a year every year for just his medication. So it's essential that that's what they do, as they should, because if you fight for this country, then you should not have to fucking deal with the ramifications of your health issues afterwards at the very fucking least. So those are some of my thoughts. I want to hear from you guys. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Let me know how you guys feel about this advancement in Alzheimer's research and medication, how you guys are feeling about Jeff Bezos traveling to space, and how you guys are feeling about this next thing that we're talking about, which, of course, low-key, we're talking about low-key. All right. Okay, now, people. Yeah. Loki is getting a lot of buzz. As you guys know, I saw the first 2 episodes. I will not be talking about my feelings on the first 2 episodes. I did tweet about the first episode. If you want to see what I thought about the first episode, check my Twitter, but I'm not allowed to talk about it until tomorrow. So on tomorrow's show, I will give a brief non-spoiler review of Loki. But I'm not the only one who has seen it, and we are allowed to look at other people's tweets on this. So I can't emphasize this enough. This is me talking about what people, not me, have tweeted about Loki who have seen Loki. Also, as a side note, I saw that Lucky Charms are putting out Loki Charms. Is that fucking real for like a day? That's sick nasty. I love Lucky Charms. I just eat them like candy, and I fucking want that very bad. So shout out to Loki Charms. And why is this not a forever thing? I need that in my life. You guys Streamlabs in and let me know if you're going to be eating Loki Charms. So in general, from what I have seen on Twitter, and you guys tell me what you've seen, people are mother frickin' stoked about this show. A lot of people are saying that this is either the best Marvel show or the best Marvel pilot they've seen, or that this is the best Disney Plus pilot that they've seen, or both. A lot of people talk about the tone of the show being different than any other tone in Marvel. There was Kevin Feige came out and said that Loki will have more impact on the MCU than any of the shows thus far. What that means is totally open for interpretation, but based on the trailer, I think we can all expect that this, of course, is going to have some kind of implication. I always look at my friend BD, Brandon Davis, who writes for Comic Book, and he writes for comicbook.com and does all their interviews and all this stuff. And before I had even seen the episodes, I went to see what he thought about it, and he was tweeting a lot of stuff about Loki. So let's go back in time for a second and see what it is that he said. This is what Brandon Davis tweeted out. He said, Loki has hands down my favorite first TV episode from Marvel Studios yet. Tom Hiddleston is just too good in the role, picking up 2012's Loki instantly. He's brilliant. Early exposition comes with awesome details for MCU fans. I really like the start. Lots of potential here. Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson are glorious together. Hiddleston brings every bit of cunning charm back to Loki. Wilson is surprisingly delightful in the MCU. The classic soft confidence makes his Mobius a blast to watch. These two are just great. Loki brings so much to the MCU lore. There are references in the past films and stories to marvel at, but also really exciting, subtle additions to the sandbox as a whole. Through 2 episodes, this series could be a really exciting big step for the MCU's broad, sprawling stories. What do you guys make of that? Would love to hear when you see this and when you guys have been watching any of these interviews or when you've been hearing anything about the show. Hello? What happened to my camera? How long have I been like this for? There we go. When you guys are seeing all this, what does it make you think when it comes to Loki? How are you feeling? More excited, less excited? Andrew Thomas says, hey, to the most beautiful Roxy, I can't wait to see Loki. It looks really good. I mostly eat the marshmallows from the Lucky Charms anyway. LOL. You're so sweet always, Andrew Thomas. I appreciate you. I love that you can't wait to see Loki. I think that the critics have been saying some really, really interesting and great things about it. So obviously that should get people more excited. And I mostly eat the Lucky Charms marshmallows as well, but you got to throw in the cereal too for that extra crunch. But God, why don't they just sell those marshmallows? If they do, why has nobody told me about that? I really need to know. Gregory Castillo in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Strider. Gregory Castillo just sent in that support, which is something I fucking love to see. Gregory's like, I ain't got nothing to say right now, but I am going to support my girl Rox. And to that, I say, Gregory, fuck yeah. That's some fuck yeah news from you right there. I appreciate you always. And especially when you guys give me that extra added support. Everybody is so fucking sweet. And y'all are the best. All right, going back to some of the stuff that I was seeing about Loki, I think that a lot of the critics or people who had seen this were also talking about how it was very, like I mentioned, different in tone from everything else. I kind of got that just from watching the trailer, that this was going to be unlike Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and certainly unlike WandaVision. I think that this is something that Marvel is particularly good at, giving us all different kinds of things so that there is something for everybody to enjoy. So that would not be a surprise to anybody, I don't think. This is coming out now on Wednesday, not on Fridays, which I kind of like that Thursday night drop that Disney Plus had been doing with these shows. But, you know, this is sooner. So what am I going to do? Bitch about the fact that we're actually going to see this sooner than usual? No, I'm going to be happy about that. Ben Meckler, who I know does fake tweets sometimes, but I think this one might be, I can never tell whether he's saying something fake or real. So I don't even want to read it out loud. Because you just don't know. We did see the Funko Pops of Loki and Mobius. Those were really cute as well. Like I said, we got the Lucky Charms. There's a lot of great stuff that's going down. Let's see what other people are saying on here so I can try to not. I'm trying very hard to not fuck anything up if you guys can't tell. So this is me not even trying to show my hand in any way, shape, or form, which I think I'm doing a decent job at. Collider did an article that says Loki, first social reactions say it's funny, weird, and takes the MCU in a new direction. Okay. Steve Weintraub, who we know as Frosty, says first 2 episodes of Loki are fantastic. Obviously, Tom Hiddleston is still perfect in the role, but I love how the series is expanding the MCU in a direction. We're not watching Loki try and figure out what's going on rather than not having control. Liz Shannon Miller says, no spoilers and full review to come, but so far I'm extraordinarily happy to report that Loki is exactly what I wanted it to be, funny, weird, and exciting television. Perry Nemiroff said, a big ol' yay for the Beetlejuice vibes of the TVA. After 2 episodes, Loki looks like it's very much my thing. Fascinated by the TVA and the timeline rules. I'll no doubt obsess over, and and love how the story is challenging Loki to assess/reassess his actions. Christina Radish says, I've seen the first 2 episodes of Loki, and it's as fun, funny, odd, and twisted as I had hoped and expected from the god of mischief. Love the snarky bromance between Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson. More of everything, please. Jenna Bush said, the first 2 episodes of Loki are wonderful. Hiddleston's charisma/chemistry with Wilson will hook you. The real draw and emotional gut punch at times, however, is watching this beloved villain move between doing the right thing and working for his own ends. Jermaine Lucier says the first 2 episodes are catnip for Marvel fans, dense on world building, callbacks, and mystery. Hiddleston is on fire. The new character rules, and there's a ton to unpack and unravel. It's a little tight on action so far, but I didn't care. It's a little light on action so far, but I didn't care. I fell hard for this new Marvel world. I could keep going, but y'all are getting the point. It's also wild to me that anytime I read any of these tweets, I know every single one of these people. So that's interesting. And Jake says, I definitely trust Perry's opinion. What's funny is that Perry and I often disagree on movies and TV. But if you go to my Twitter, you can see whether I agree or disagree with Perry. So those are some of my low-key assessments based on looking at people's tweets. I can't wait to talk more about it tomorrow. If you guys have any other questions, comments, concerns, things that I actually can address, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Would love to hear from you guys before I do get out of here today. For the rest of the day, I do have a meeting, so wish me luck in that. And then afterwards, I'm meeting up with the World Girls, as we are going to see in the Heights. So if you are a patron of the World Girls, patreon.com/the World Girls, then you're going to want to check that out. I think we're going to do a spoiler-free afterwards in the Heights brief video, just like we did for F9. And also, I'll be talking about that here tomorrow live at the Roxy as well. And for other things, y'all, don't forget, it's so crazy because when we started all this, I was getting 5,000 views per every single episode, and 10,000 views, 8,000 views, and then there was 100,000 views, and I was everywhere in between. And then now recently, this week alone is just like plummeted. And I think that YouTube's changed a lot of things about the algorithm. And then also people are going back to work, and that this timing might be weird. So I might be looking at doing nighttime shows instead. But everybody I know has got places to go, people to see, people to support, themselves included. And so I totally get it. I love you guys. I'm going to continue doing this as long as I can. And still putting all the effort into the World Girls. But if you are watching right now, to those of you guys who are, please make sure that you like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. All that stuff really makes a fucking difference. I appreciate it. I stopped putting every episode on podcast to try to drive more people here. And I'm going to be putting 1 or 2 there a week, depending on the episodes. So if you're an audio listener, that is why you're not seeing every single episode there. And I just wanted to explain it to you guys, because I always do. For my advice corner before we get out of here, so get in any last minute Streamlabs while I do this advice corner for you guys today. This is something that I saw on a friend of mine's, actually my friend Dan Furgel, who you guys know, I interviewed him a long time ago for TV fights. I think he came on, so I didn't interview him. Whatever. We met at Screen Junkies a long time ago, and we've stayed friends ever since. He's fucking awesome, and I adore him. And he posts some really beautiful, inspirational things. And he's somebody who's always looking for self-betterment and wellness and whatnot. And so he posted an Instagram story today that was just a selfie of him, and he put this quote on there that said, "One day, or day one, you decide." And that really fucking stuck with me. I mean, it's only been a day, but I mean, all day I was thinking about that. One day, or day one, you decide. And for any of us who struggle with addiction or depression or anxiety or any of the mental health problems that we talk about on this show all the fucking time, I think that this is really, really essential, because we can sit there and consider ourselves at the base of something, and we can sit there and decide, one day I'm going to work harder at my career, or one day when I get this job, I'm going to be better, or one day I'm going to stop drinking, or one day I'm going to look for a wife, or one day I'm going to step up for my children, or one day, there's a lot of one days. One day, or there's day one. And I'm a very proactive person, so I much prefer the idea of day one, because day one is today, and today can be day one. As John Bainbridge says, today is the first day of the rest of your life. But this one just resonates with me a bit more, because I'm a big dreamer, but also, instead of one day, day one. And if we can all think like that, I think that we would value each one of our days even more than we already do, especially because we don't know which one's our last, which, if you have lost people like I have, or many of you guys have, this we fucking know. So that's my little bit of a Roxy advice corner at the end of the show, that perhaps instead of one day, make today day one. Think about that. And I think many of you guys are capable of doing that, even if you don't believe that you can yourself. Give it a shot, and we'll see how that goes. Much love to all of you guys. Thank you for being in here and supporting me. Shout out to everybody who joined the show today. Evan Hooker, Joseph Ashley, Third Turd, Andrew Thomas, John Bainbridge, Gregory Castillo, Emmanuel Akinola, Murder Ronta, Mark Jason Ali, Jake Yakavetta, Mabuses Testament. World Girls is great, Roxy. Thank you. I appreciate that. I like them a lot as well. They're pretty freaking awesome. Rob Fishbeck, Glenn Caesar, Thunder God Cairo. Where are our ladies at? Where the girls at from the front to back? Now you're feeling that. Knitting Math, Pink Sweets. I knew I'd find you. French Taunter, Matt Munoz, Dwayne Burke, who I shouted out earlier, who I'm so grateful for. Robert Turner, and all of you guys. Much love to everybody. The Prince That Wasn't Promised. Yeah. So as we get out of here, Michelle O'Rourke, Legoland. As we get out of here, please remember to put down your toilet seats. We don't want those flumes. Make your bed if you haven't already. That can change your life. Day one, not one day. Don't tremor the Holocaust. It's never fucking cool. Brett Miles Jonathan, arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor, all three of them for killing Breonna Taylor. Check your internet. You can do that by blowing on it. And I will see you guys tomorrow or tonight if you're a patron, as we drop that In the Heights thing. Tomorrow if you are watching SEN. Otherwise, I'll see you guys here live at the Roxy, where we'll talk about In the Heights and Loki and all that great stuff. Much love, friends. And stay safe, stay sane.